September of 1981, the rock music world held its breath. The iconic Christian rock band Salvation Sound had vanished. Their private plane simply disappeared over the Bermuda Triangle, leaving no trace, no answers, only the unsettling echo of the pilot's last message, "Strange light." September 1981. The Miami air was humid and heavy. The summer heat still lingered. The calendar read September 16th. 5 young men gathered at the airport, their ages ranging from 22 to 28. This was Salvation Sound. Their faces glowed with anticipation. They were flying to the Bahamas for a grand concert, the pinnacle of their career. They believed in their music and in their message. Jeremiah, the vocalist, was the youngest at 22. His voice was strong and pure, the heart of the band. Samuel, the guitarist, was a quiet and thoughtful 26-year-old whose riffs were powerful and profound. David, the bassist, was Jeremiah's 28-year-old older brother. His bass lines were deep and rhythmic, a steady anchor for them all. Job, the drummer, was 27, energetic and restless, the very heartbeat of the group. Aaron, the 24-year-old keyboardist, was a musical genius. His melodies were soaring and intricate. He often closed his eyes while playing, as if he could actually see the music. Their record company had chartered a private plane, a small but luxurious jet, a symbol of their growing success and status. They boarded as the sun began to set, golden rays piercing the scattered clouds. The cabin buzzed with excitement. The pilot, an older man with graying temples, waved to them. He was experienced and had flown this route many times before. Miami to Nassau, a short flight over the Atlantic, only about an hour. The plane lifted off the ground with a gentle jolt and climbed into the sky. The lights of Miami twinkled below, growing smaller and smaller. The band members laughed, sharing news and discussing the upcoming performance, anticipating success and dreaming of the future. The sea below was calm, the blue waves reflecting the last rays of sunlight. The sky was clear, with nothing to foreshadow the impending tragedy. About 30 minutes into the flight, the pilot contacted air traffic control, his voice calm as he reported standard data. Everything was going according to plan. Then, silence fell, an unusual silence, a silence on the airwaves. Controllers in Miami tried to contact the pilot, but there was no response. They repeated the call again and again, met only with static or complete silence. The pilot's last message was brief and disturbing, his voice strained. He reported a strange light, bright, unusual, and stationary. It was too close. Then his voice broke off, the sound cut out, and the plane vanished from the radar screens, dissolving into thin air as if it had never existed, as if it had been erased from reality. A search began, massive and unprecedented. The U.S. and Bahamian authorities joined forces, deploying ships, Coast Guard vessels, planes, Navy units, and helicopters. They scoured every square meter of the Bermuda Triangle. The sea was merciless, revealing none of its secrets. No wreckage, no life jackets, no personal belongings, no bodies, nothing, only the fathomless blue of the ocean. Mystery shrouded the event, suffocating hope. Families prayed, fans mourned, and the music world was in shock. Salvation Sound simply vanished. Their music fell silent. Their story became a legend, an unsolved, agonizing mystery. Questions lingered. What happened on that fateful day? Why did the plane disappear? Where did the 5 young musicians go? No one knew, and no one could find the answers. Years passed, slowly, relentlessly, turning into decades. The September mystery of 1981 became a cold memory, a painful sting in the hearts of those who loved Salvation Sound. For many, it was just another mysterious disappearance in the infamous Bermuda Triangle. Journalists wrote articles, researchers put forward theories, but no one found answers. The secret lay hidden deep beneath a thick layer of water, a layer of oblivion, a thick layer of indifference. For the public, for the families, the group Salvation Sound disappeared, dissolved, becoming another victim of the ocean's mystique. Their songs continued to play on the radio, but their voices sounded like ghosts. They were an echo of what could have been, but never was. Their albums, which once sold millions of copies, gathered dust on shelves. Time passed, the pain dulled, but it did not disappear. It simply lay deeper beneath the surface of the ocean, in complete darkness, under unbearable pressure. Life went on, unbelievably, inconceivably. 3 of the 5 musicians survived: Jeremiah, Samuel, and Aaron. They were trapped inside the fuselage of the plane, which was wedged in the substructure 30 meters below the surface. It was unthinkable. It was a miracle or something far more sinister. The fuselage became an underwater prison. Inside it, an air pocket formed, created by an invisible force. It was part of a military experiment, an electromagnetic field that held back the water and sustained their lives. Inside the sealed capsule, they spent 19 years. 19 years in darkness, in isolation, in utter despair. 19 years without sun, without fresh air, without hope. Their survival was not just a miracle. It was the result of a deliberate, terrifying plan. A CIA agent named John Harper, who had infiltrated the music industry, posing as their manager. He was charismatic, persuasive. He was the one who convinced the group to fly on that flight. He was the one who directed them into the test zone. Harper believed that religious musicians were ideally suited for the experiment. An experiment in mind control using sound frequencies. Project Sonic, as it was called, was a secret program designed to use art as a weapon. Inside this hell, 2 of the 5 musicians died. The drummer, Yaf, was full of vitality, but he could not come to terms with his imprisonment. He tried to escape. He tried to swim out, but he surfaced too quickly, too forcefully. His body could not withstand the sudden change in pressure. He died of an embolism in the very first year. His last moments were a struggle and a despair. The bassist, David, was the eldest, the mainstay. He died of poisoning, heavy metal poisoning from the experimental rations. These rations, meant to sustain them, were slowly killing them. His body simply could not take it. He passed away quietly in his sleep. The survivors, Jeremiah, Samuel, and Aaron, witnessed the deaths of their friends. They were forced to adapt to unthinkable conditions. They were deprived of everything, but not of their spirit. They created funeral rituals, solemn and primitive, but full of meaning. They kept the bodies in a makeshift crypt in the cargo hold as their way of preserving dignity, preserving memory. Every day they gave concerts for the dead, singing and playing for those who could no longer hear. It was their way of remaining human. They survived on experimental military rations, a jelly-like substance with a bitter taste, in limited oxygen. The air was heavy and stale, smelling of metal and dampness from the desalinated water from the platform system. The water was fresh, but tasteless. These years changed them completely, physically and mentally. They existed in an altered state of consciousness, deep and strange. They believed they were in a musical purgatory, that God was testing them, that they had entered another dimension where time flowed differently. Jeremiah, the vocalist, his voice was now only a whisper. He began to write over 1,000 songs in his own blood on the fuselage of the plane, using sharp pieces of metal to scratch the words. He believed it was a new liturgy for a post-apocalyptic humanity. Was he a prophet, or was he a madman? His eyes burned with obsession. Samuel, the guitarist, his hearing had become heightened to an extreme degree. He had developed echolocation. He could perceive sounds in the smallest detail. He saw music in 3-dimensional patterns. Sound was his vision, his new world. He could navigate in complete darkness using only sound. He could feel vibrations, distant and faint. And Aaron, the keyboardist, he plunged into deep meditation. His body barely moved. His heart beat only 20 times a minute. He was on the verge of non-existence, almost in nirvana. He was somewhere far away in another dimension. His mind was beyond comprehension, in harmony with the surrounding pressure, with the silence, with the darkness. The platform was a secret CIA base, abandoned but functioning as a laboratory and a prison. Inside was an underwater recording studio where victims were forced to create mind control music under the influence of experimental drugs. The studio was hidden in the depths of the ocean. Documents found on the platform revealed the horrifying truth. Project MK Sonic was just one aspect of a broader program. These documents contained lists, names of 14 other artists who had disappeared in similar accidents between 1978 and 1985. All of them were victims of this program. All of them were missing, their fates terrible. It was all part of MK Sonic, a nightmarish program buried beneath the waves. For 19 years, the world had no idea what was happening beneath its surface. Years passed, and the sea kept its secrets. The deep waters of the Atlantic remained silent witnesses until the spring of 2000, when chance collided with a terrible truth. A woman named Marina. She was 38 years old, a marine engineer working on the maintenance of an abandoned, old oil platform, located deep in the Atlantic, thousands of kilometers off the coast of Florida. It was isolated, rusting, reminiscent of forgotten times. Its steel structures were covered in algae and barnacles. It was a ghost of the industrial era. Marina was known for her meticulousness. She was an experienced diver. Her name in the marine industry was synonymous with reliability. She was looking for routine malfunctions, checking fasteners and connections. On that day, she dived deeper than usual, searching for weaknesses in the underwater structures. While diving 30 meters deep in the twilight waters, far from sunlight, she saw something unusual, something that should not have been there, something alien. The fuselage of an airplane, wedged in the underwater supports of the platform, mangled metal, attached to old, rusted beams. It was a shock unthinkable. How could an entire airplane be here without any reports, without debris on the surface? Marina returned to the surface, her heart pounding. She was shocked, frightened. She reported the finding. The authorities were skeptical. An airplane on an abandoned platform at that depth? They did not believe her, but her reputation was impeccable. She was persistent, adamant, certain of what she had seen. She showed them the coordinates, the precise depth data. Eventually, they decided to send a team, led by her, to investigate the finding. They provided her with all the necessary equipment. It was not just a check. It was an official investigation. As they approached the fuselage, Marina felt a strange sensation. It was not just an airplane. It was a place where time had stopped, where life was battling oblivion. She felt a cold horror pierce her to the bone, along with a burning curiosity. What had happened to this plane? How did it end up here? Why did no one know about it? She was a diver, a seeker, and she knew this would be the most significant discovery of her life. They entered the plane cautiously, slowly, fearing what they would find. The air inside was musty, sweetish, heavy, thick, almost palpable. The smell of decay mixed with something else, something strange, something reminiscent of living beings, of long captivity. It was the smell of old metal mixed with organic vapors. Marina was at the forefront, moving slowly with a flashlight in her hand. Every step was a test. She illuminated every corner, looking for anything. Then she saw them. 3 men, barely alive, emaciated, their bodies thin, their skin pale, almost transparent, their faces covered in dirt and hair. They were otherworldly. Their eyes were empty, vacant, but there was a spark in them, a spark of something ancient, something unearthly, a spark of consciousness. The discovery was shocking. Marina realized that she had stumbled upon something more than just the wreckage of an airplane. She had stumbled upon living people who had been buried alive for 19 years. She felt the weight of this secret, lying on her shoulders like a huge stone. She knew this would change everything for these men, for the world, for herself. She knew it was dangerous, that it could have far-reaching consequences, but she also knew that the truth had to be revealed. It was her duty, her mission. The moment of truth came when the rescue teams, working tirelessly day and night, pulled the fuselage to the surface and opened it. The world held its breath. News of this strange discovery spread quickly, like wildfire. The 3 survivors were found: Jeremiah, Samuel, and Aaron. Their skin was pale, almost deathly white. Their hair was long and matted. Their eyes were empty, but they were alive. They were alive after 19 years in an underwater trap. It was unthinkable. It was a miracle or a nightmare for them and for the whole world. They were in an altered state of consciousness, a deep trance. They could not speak in the normal way. Their vocal cords may have atrophied from disuse or changed under the influence of pressure. They made sounds like whispers or singing, low vibrations, strange melodies. They communicated with each other telepathically, through sound vibrations. It was their own language, incomprehensible to anyone else. They believed they were in a musical purgatory, that God was testing them, that they had entered another dimension where time flowed differently, where their souls were undergoing purification. Jeremiah, his hands were gnarled, his nails broken. He was exhausted, but his eyes burned. He pointed to the fuselage of the plane, which was covered in writing, written in his own blood, thousands of songs, a new liturgy for post-apocalyptic humanity. He had used sharp pieces of metal as a pen, blood as ink. Was he a prophet or was he a madman or both? His works were a testament to his suffering, his faith, his hope. Samuel moved cautiously, his movements fluid. He seemed to see something that others could not. He could feel vibrations, distant and faint. He saw music in three-dimensional patterns. Sound was his vision, his new world. He could navigate in complete darkness using only sound. He could feel the faintest vibrations of water and air, as if his body had become a huge, hypersensitive locator. And Aaron, he was in deep meditation, his body barely moving, motionless, his pulse barely perceptible. He was almost lifeless, but there was peace in his eyes, serenity. He was somewhere far away in another dimension. His mind was beyond comprehension, in harmony with the surrounding pressure, with the silence, with the darkness. His breathing was almost imperceptible, as if he had dissolved into space. The investigation began immediately. The underwater platform was thoroughly examined. It was abandoned, but contained traces of secret activity. It was not built simply for oil extraction, but for something far more sinister. Documents were found in a secure compartment. They were shocking, revealing the horrifying truth. Project MK Sonic was a program that was meant to remain secret forever. It was a CIA program that explored the use of music for psychological warfare, for mind control. The musicians were guinea pigs, forced to create mind control music under the influence of experimental drugs in an underwater studio. This studio was hidden in the depths of the ocean, equipped with the most advanced sound equipment of the time, special cameras, and devices for altering consciousness. The documents showed that Salvation Sound was not the only group. It was just the tip of the iceberg. 14 other artists, famous and little known, had disappeared in similar accidents between 1978 and 1985. All of them were victims of this program. All of them were missing, their fates terrible. It was all part of MK Sonic, a nightmarish program buried beneath the waves. For 19 years, the world had no idea what was happening beneath its surface, what horrors were being committed in the name of science and national security. The survivors were rescued, but their return was difficult. Their bodies and minds were adapted to the pressure of the deep, to the lack of oxygen, to the altered state of consciousness. They could not immediately adapt to normal atmospheric pressure. Their lungs, their blood vessels, their brains, everything had changed. It took months in a hyperbaric chamber to gradually return to reality. Doctors were shocked by their condition. It was like returning from another world. Two of them, Jeremiah and Samuel, are still alive today, but they refuse to talk about their experience. They communicate only through musical instruments. Their music sounds strange, filled with dissonances and incomprehensible harmonies, causing both anxiety and awe. They continue to believe that the current reality is just another test, that true salvation has not yet arrived. Their music has become their voice, their refuge, their way of expressing the inexpressible. It was their message from the depths. Marina's discovery shed light on the dark corners of government secrets, but it also brought her mortal danger. 3 months after the discovery, she died in a suspicious accident. Her car ran off the road and crashed into a tree. The police called it an accident, but many believed it was murder, a message for anyone who dared to reveal the truth. Her death was a warning, The recordings of underwater music were confiscated by the government immediately, but copies leaked into the darknet like a virus, spreading rapidly. Listeners who dared to listen to them reported hallucinations, strange memories, memories that did not belong to them, a sense of disorientation, obsessive thoughts, and unexplained anxiety. The music continued to live on, continued to act, an echo of a terrible truth, the key to a world that was meant to remain hidden. The consequences of this shocking revelation were enormous and continued to unfold like ripples on the water, spreading ever wider. The rescued musicians, Jeremiah and Samuel, their rehabilitation was long and agonizing. It was not just a process of restoring the body. It was a process of returning the soul. They were living testaments to unimaginable human resilience and unimaginable cruelty. They could never fully adapt to normal life. The world had changed, and they had changed. They found it difficult to connect with reality, otherworldly, like aliens from another dimension. Their physical condition improved with intensive therapy and constant medical supervision, but their psyche remained fragile. They often fell into a stupor, staring at one point for hours, their eyes empty. Doctors, psychiatrists tried to help them, but in vain. Words had no meaning for them. Only music could penetrate their clouded minds. Jeremiah continued to write, but now, instead of blood, he used charcoal or any other material that left a trace. His songs became even darker, even more prophetic. He believed they contained keys to understanding universal evil, warning humanity about the impending apocalypse. His music was full of dissonances, strange rhythms, unusual harmonies, almost unbearable to the ordinary ear. But for him, it was the only truth. Samuel continued to see music in three-dimensional patterns. He could stand by the window for hours, listening to the sounds of the city and describing them as complex geometric shapes. His hands were constantly moving, as if he was sculpting invisible sculptures out of sound. He was a genius or a madman. He could feel people's emotions through their voices, through the beating of their hearts, through barely perceptible vibrations in the air. He avoided large crowds of people. The noise was unbearable for him. Aaron did not recover from his deep meditative state. He died a few weeks after the rescue. His body could not withstand the return to the ordinary world. His death was quiet, peaceful. He simply stopped breathing. He was buried in a small cemetery in Miami, next to the graves of those who never returned. The antagonists, those who stood behind Project MK Sonic, their fate was less clear. The government tried to hush up the scandal, denied its involvement, called it all misinformation and a conspiracy theory. It claimed that Marina was mentally ill and that her discovery was a fabrication. But the leaked documents and the testimony of the survivors were too convincing. They were published in underground publications and spread through word of mouth. Several low-ranking CIA agents were arrested and convicted of abuse of power and unauthorized experiments. But the true architects of the program, those who gave the orders, who funded the project, remained unpunished. They went into the shadows, their names remaining unknown. They continued their work on other projects under other names. It was a cold, cruel truth that power often remains untouchable. The impact on the community, on the families, was profound. The families of the missing artists received answers, but they were answers full of pain and betrayal. It did not bring them peace. It brought them a new wave of suffering and anger. Many of them became activists, demanding justice, demanding answers. They organized protests. They wrote petitions, but their voices often remained unheard or silenced. The long-standing mystery was finally solved, but its resolution was bitter. It did not bring relief. It brought only new pain. The recordings of underwater music became a legend in conspiracy circles, called the music of emptiness, the melodies of oblivion, the sounds of the apocalypse. People listened to them in secret, looking for hidden messages or simply seeking thrills. Many claimed that these recordings caused strange effects, from headaches to vivid hallucinations, from feelings of paranoia to uncontrollable fear. They were artifacts from a place where time and reality were distorted, where the human mind was subjected to unbearable trials. Some listeners reported strange memories, memories that did not belong to them, as if voices from the depths had implanted foreign thoughts, foreign sufferings, into their minds. Marina's death added another layer to this mystery. The police called it an accident. Her car ran off the road and crashed into a tree. Everything looked like an ordinary road accident, but many people close to her believed it was murder, a message for anyone who dared to dig too deep, for those who dared to reveal secrets. Her sacrifice, she was not forgotten. She was a reminder of the price that must be paid for the truth, the price that must be paid for interfering in matters that were meant to remain hidden. Jeremiah and Samuel live in seclusion, away from the public eye, in a small house on the oceanfront in Florida. The ocean has become for them a comfort and a reminder of what they have been through. Their music has become their only language. They play melodies that sound both beautiful and disturbing. They play for each other and for a world that does not understand them. Their music is their way of expressing their pain, their hope, their madness. Their faith has remained unwavering. They still believe that this life is a continuation of their trial, that God or someone else is not finished with them. They wait, they listen, they feel that true salvation has not yet arrived, that this is only a temporary haven before something greater or something more terrible. Their eyes often look to the sky, as if they expect an airplane to descend from the heavens and take them home, or that a strange light will reappear on the horizon. The legacy of Salvation Sound lives on, but it has changed. From a story about a missing group, it has become a story about government corruption, about survival, about mystery, about faith. Their music has become prophetic, an anthem for those who seek truth in a world full of lies. Their songs now sound with new force, with new meaning. They have become a symbol of the indomitable power of the human spirit, which can survive even in the most unthinkable conditions. The story of Salvation Sound continues to resonate in the minds of those who hear it. It reminds us that sometimes the darkest secrets are hidden in plain sight, that faith and resilience can survive in the most unthinkable conditions, and that music can be not only sound, but also a force that changes lives forever. And that in the depths of the ocean, or in the depths of the human consciousness, there will always be something that will wait for its hour to be revealed, or something that will remain a secret forever.